Welcome. This video is especially meant for all of you who are living alone and who may be sometimes feeling lonely. I will reveal one secret about how you can live alone and not be lonely. So please stay with me. And I would like to start actually with the wisdom from the ancient yoga textbooks, especially from the Bhagavad Gita as it is. And in this yoga textbook, we have one verse which is revealing something very extraordinarily. And so this is the verse 15:15. It is in the 15th chapter, text number 15. And this verse is actually revealing that in the heart of every one of us, there is a presence of the super soul. Do you want to hear this verse? So it goes like this. I am seated in everyone's heart, and from me comes remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. By all of the Vedas, I'm to be known. Indeed, I'm the compiler of Vedanta and I'm the knower of the Vedas. So this verse is actually revealing to us that we are never alone. There is never a time in your life or in my life when you or I are alone. Even if we are in the darkest of night, even if we are in the most remote place with nobody around, we are actually not alone. Why not? Because in the heart is the super soul. And who is the super soul? The super soul is actually the localized aspect of God, or the localized aspect of the absolute truth. And in this verse, you could hear it is revealed that from him comes remembrance, from him comes forgetfulness also. So this basically means that the intelligence is coming from the super soul. And it is based, of course, on our activities and our desires, whether he will give us the remembrance or he will give us the forgetfulness. But the most important thing about which I want to speak now is that feeling. When we are alone, we can either feel content and we can actually feel very secure and happy, or we can feel lonely. What is actually this loneliness, and what is the secret to not be lonely? And this is also described in the ancient yoga textbooks. Especially, there is one text in Srimad Bhagavatam, and in the commentary, in the purport to that text in the second canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, it is actually revealed that a person who purifies his heart, who purifies his consciousness, he never feels lonely. How is this possible? This is possible because when one purifies one's consciousness, the darkness which is covering one's heart and one's consciousness is removed. And when this darkness is removed, one actually becomes aware of the presence of the super soul. This is something most wonderful and most amazing. It is actually explained in the Srimad Bhagavatam in another place in the Canto 3, that when a person is thoroughly purified, his consciousness becomes crystal clear, like a crystal clear water. And in this crystal clear water, one can actually see the reflection of his own self and also see the reflection of the Supreme Self. So at that point, one can actually see oneself as a spiritual being, and one can actually see the Supreme Soul. Isn't this wonderful? Isn't this something that everyone should aspire for? But of course, you may say, this is something which is only possible for a very, very elevated personality, for great sages, for great saintly personalities. But actually, it is not quite so. It is possible, even for an ordinary person like you and me, it is possible that we can purify our consciousness and we become aware of the presence of the super soul. It is just that simple. Just by purifying our consciousness, you will feel the presence of the super soul. And it is this very comforting presence. It is like your very best friend is just next to you. And you feel so comforted, and you feel you have the best company, and you cannot feel lonely, even if you are alone. So now you may also wonder, well, if this is so, if you can actually feel this presence of the super soul, if you purify your consciousness, how do you purify your consciousness? So this really is the real question. So to purify one's consciousness, one needs to take shelter of the spiritual sound vibration, of the transcendental sound vibration. And this is the vibration of the transcendental mantra or the transcendental literature. Literature like Bhagavad Gita as it is, Srimad Bhagavatam, Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita. When you engage your hearing into this spiritual sound vibration, this affects your consciousness by purifying the impurities, by removing the darkness which is clouding the mind and the consciousness at present. So when these clouds and when this darkness is removed, then you experience many, many positive, wonderful effects, one of which is feeling very peaceful and satisfied within, feeling joyful, because this is the natural state of our existence, our spiritual existence, that we feel joyful, we feel happy. And this most precious gift of feeling the presence of the super soul. And not only such a person feels the presence of the super soul, but there is even much more. And this is also explained in the Bhagavad Gita in the 6th chapter, where it is explained that the person who has conquered the mind, for him, the mind becomes the greatest friend. So when your consciousness is so purified, then you actually can get direct inspiration and intelligence from the super soul. And it is just like your very best friend who is most wise is giving you a counsel at any given point in your life. Whatever circumstances there are, you get the inspiration, you get the intelligence of what to do, how should you act. So these are some of the most important points about how not to feel lonely even when you're alone. And I have to add that this is so even if you're not living alone, because sometimes you may feel lonely even if you're surrounded with many people, even if you live with other people all the time, but you may feel lonely. And this loneliness is actually only coming about because of the darkness of consciousness. So when this darkness of consciousness is purified, then also the loneliness goes away. You feel connected, you feel that spiritual connection with the source of your life, with the super soul. And through him, you can also start feeling connected with other people on the level of the soul. And this is actually the basis for a true, much better and much more loving relationships with others. So I will stop here. I would like to invite you to subscribe and hit that bell button so that you will get the notification when I upload future classes. And also, please write something, some comments, some thoughts, and some questions so that we can have some discussion and we can go even deeper into these nectarian topics.